What's going on, guys? Jeff here for Mad Hatter's Reef, and today we've got a brand new video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 large angelfish, which we've already taken a look at the dwarf angelfish side of things. Now it's time to take a look at their big brothers, the large angelfish. But before we jump into any of that, if this is your first time being here, this is where I talk about everything reef tank related. So if you love reef tanks like I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a new video, because I upload a new video every week. Now let's get back to our top 10, where we're taking a look at the large angelfish. Now, in most cases, large angelfish are not the best additions to a reef tank. There is some exceptions here and there, more along the lines of reef safe with caution. But generally speaking, these aren't ideal candidates for a full-blown reef tank. Now, if you're one of those trailblazing reef tank hobbyists and want to keep angels in your reef tank, it's very important to make sure that you kind of have them quarantined, or at least have them in observation for a period of time with corals and invertebrates, to make sure that you don't have one of the ones that is going to chew up your invertebrates or your corals, whatever the case may be. It's important to make sure you do that research before adding them to your reef tank. And since we're on the subject of research, always make sure that you do your due diligence before adding fish to your aquarium, no matter what the case may be. It's never a good idea to just grab a fish, go home, and put it in your tank. Always make sure you're quarantining. Always make sure you're doing your research before you make a purchase, and you'll be a lot more successful with your reef tank. All right, let's jump into our top 10 large angelfish list. Coming in at number 10 on our top 10 list is the Rock Beauty angelfish. Now, as far as price point goes with this guy, you can typically find them from $40 to $60, depending on where you're doing your shopping and how big this fish is when you pick it up. As far as coloration, it's very beautiful. It has a very bright orange and almost black main body, and highlighted with orange fins and a blue eye. Very pretty fish. They are considered a difficult care level angelfish, so it's something that you want to make sure you're doing your research and understand the requirements of this fish before purchase. Semi-aggressive in its temperament, has an omnivore-based diet, is reef safe with caution, can grow upwards of 8 inches, and requires a minimum tank size of 125 gallons. Coming in at number 9 on our top 10 large angelfish list is the queen angelfish. Now, price point a little bit higher, a little bit more expensive. You're talking anywhere from $175 to $200 for this fish, and that's really going to depend again on the size of this fish. This fish can get upwards of $400 for a full-size adult. That's pretty expensive. No matter which way you cut it, definitely a beautiful fish. There does seem to be some differences between juveniles and adults. So much like a lot of angelfish, they kind of change throughout their life. And when it's an adult, it has like this gorgeous blue base with orange marbling and then blue highlighted fins. Just a very good looking fish. As far as care level goes for this guy, he is moderate care level, semi-aggressive, has an omnivore based diet, is reef safe with caution, can grow upwards of 1.5 feet, and requires a minimum tank size of 250 gallons. Coming in at number 8 on our top 10, the Scrabbled Angelfish. This guy definitely comes with a high price point, $300 to $330. As far as care level, this guy is moderate care level, semi-aggressive, has an omnivore-based diet, reef safe with caution, can grow upwards of 10 inches, and requires a minimum tank size of 180 gallons. Coming in at number 7 on our top 10 large angelfish is the Singapore angelfish. Now, kind of getting a little bit back down to a lower price point with this guy, anywhere from $30 to $40, depending on where you're picking it up. Coloration on him, even though that it isn't the most extravagant colorations, it's definitely a very pretty fish. It has like that yellow and black head, then the white right behind the gill plate, and then goes into like this kind of marbled black body with a yellow back fin. As far as care level, we've kind of crept back into that difficult care level range. Semi-aggressive in its temperament, has a omnivore diet, is reef safe with caution. So again, one of those fish that you may want to test out prior to actually adding it to your reef tank if you were to try to keep a angelfish in your reef tank. They can grow upwards of 7 inches and require a minimum tank size of 120 gallons. Reason that this fish is considered difficult care level is due to the fact that it doesn't do too well in quarantine. Quite often, it spends most of its time hiding, and even in some cases refuses to eat. So I definitely would encourage anybody that wants to add one of these guys to their reef tank that they make sure they do all their research and understand the needs of this fish prior to purchase. Coming in at number 6 on our top 10 angelfish is the passer angelfish. Now this guy, a little bit higher of a price tag. He's going to be anywhere from $200 to $230, and there's definitely some different colorations. That's a very common theme with angelfish, is that they look a little bit different when they are juveniles, and as they get older, in a lot of cases change. And in my opinion, a lot of times these angelfish look a lot prettier as juveniles as they do as adults, even though with the passer angelfish there's not a huge amount of difference. It really just seems like the blue bands on the juvenile kind of get a little bit smaller with age, and it kind of loses a lot of the orange coloration throughout the fish. This guy is moderate care level, semi-aggressive in his temperament, has a omnivore-based diet, is reef safe with caution, grows upwards of 1 foot 2 inches, and requires a minimum tank size of 250 gallons. Coming in at number 5, the OG, the Emperor Angelfish. This guy is probably one of the most stunning saltwater fish in the hobby, and definitely a fish that I would like to have in a fish-only system someday. They are considered moderate care level, have a semi-aggressive temperament, omnivore-based diet. They are reef safe with caution. They can grow upwards of 1 foot 3 inches and require a minimum tank size of 120 gallons. Now, typical asking price for this fish is anywhere from, I'd say, $100 all the way up to $150. Really depends on the market and what the size of the fish is. Definitely a beautiful fish. I wish that the juvenile color formation was what this fish looked like, but even so, the adult is definitely a good looking fish too. The Emperor Angelfish, definitely one of the greats. Check it out. Coming in at number 4 in our top 10 angelfish is the Regal Angelfish. This guy definitely packs a punch when it comes to the price point. You're talking anywhere from $150 all the way up to $400, and that really has a lot to do with where it's coming from as well as the size. And like most of the angelfish that are on this list, there's definitely coloration differences depending on where the fish comes from and also its age. These guys are, in fact, considered expert only. They have a semi-aggressive temperament, omnivore-based diet. They are reef safe with caution, so there's always that hope that you might get one that you could actually add to a reef tank. But in most cases, these guys are better candidates for a fish-only system. They grow upwards of 10 inches and require a minimum tank size of 125 gallons. Coming in at number 3 on our top 10 angelfish is the Gold Flake Angelfish. This is probably one of the most expensive fish on this list, packing a price point of $150. That is absolutely huge. Nonetheless, an absolutely beautiful fish, and much like its name, has gold flakes throughout its body, black fins highlighted with blue, and a blue mouth. Very, very pretty fish. As far as care level goes with this guy, he's moderate care level, semi-aggressive in his temperament, has a omnivore-based diet, reef safe with caution. He can grow upwards of 10 inches and requires a minimum tank size of 125 gallons. Coming in at number 2 in our top 10 angelfish is the blue-faced angelfish. Now, a lot of the fish that we've talked about on this list have been anywhere from $500 to $30. This guy's kind of towards the middle once you kind of look at the grand scale of angelfish, coming in at around $170. Definitely a beautiful fish, and one of the few angelfish that actually gets better looking with age. Has a very interesting face and gill plate that is almost like blue highlights, and then kind of goes into this typically kind of dull coloration in its main body, but definitely a beautiful fish. He is moderate care level, has a semi-aggressive temperament, omnivore-based diet, is reef safe with caution, grows upwards of 1 foot and 3 inches, and requires a minimum tank size of 120 gallons. Coming in at number 1 on our top 10 angelfish is the blue griddled angelfish. Price point definitely a solid price point, $100. Again, gets a little bit higher as a fish gets bigger. And this guy is moderate care level, has a semi-aggressive temperament, omnivore-based diet, is not reef safe, grows upwards of a foot, and requires a minimum tank size of 180 gallons. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this one. If you want to learn more about saltwater fish, check this video out. I will see you over there.